Hello, as usual, it's me Pavlo, and today we'll be talking about interesting earphones named Athena. They are named after a Greek goddess. It's more correct to pronounce this as Athena. I'm not sure about the correct way of doing that. But it's a single dynamic driver earphones with beryllium plated diaphragm driver with dual acoustic cavities tuning, high magnetic flux, and so on. But what is interesting here, it's the fact that this earphones is a product of collaboration between TFZ and Angelears. Angelears is a retailer that works on delivering different earphones on the global market, and they cooperate with different manufacturers, helping them to get more popularity and reach wider audience. As for TFZ, if you remember, if you're long enough in this hobby, like 5 to 7 years ago, TFZ were really popular. They manufactured a lot of different dynamic driver earphones that were pretty well received. Usually they offered kind of warmish sound signature, but this time these earphones are described by the slogan reinterpreting crystal clarity. So most likely tuning will be slightly different. It's a limited edition earphones. There are two versions, gold and silver, and both are limited to 500 units. Price is $130, and basically let's have a closer look and see what we are getting here. Package is nice, it's foiled with embossed logo, looks pretty attractive, not much information printed on the box. It was wrapped in plastic, of course, to protect, but still you can see that corners of the box suffered a little bit during the transportation. Inside we have a really promising offer to reinterpret crystal clarity. Crystal clarity is my type of thing, and this is an accessories box. And here goes antennas themselves, and we can see that they mention 10mm dynamic driver, beryllium plated, and so on and so forth. I prefer to read these captions like, "Relax, dude, we use some good drivers, so don't worry, be happy." And let's see what we have in this crystal clarity box. So, short manual, two set of silicone tips with wide bores and narrow ones. They will definitely have a different sound signature. So let's go here, and here is the cable itself. So matching colors. Here are earpieces. To me they look nice. Maybe not something stellar in terms of design, but pretty neat. Interesting faceplates. Probably these semicircles represent the Athena, because it really reminds some kind of ancient Greek painting or something like that. Traditional shape, made of plastic. You can see the stitch here. So faceplate and inner part have a bit different shape. They are transparent. This deep blue color is a bit of see-through. You can see the driver inside, pretty big one, vent hole, and here is the spout. Unfortunately, it's made of plastic, not metal, but it has protective grill, and it has a lip for holding the tips, and overall they fitting nicely into ears. Spouts hold the tips pretty well. Sound isolation is also slightly above average. And here used two pin connectors, kind of QDC connectors with recessed pins and a bit elevated socket. So nice connectors in terms of mechanical reliability, and also looks pretty normal. So there are ear hooks without memory wire. I miss the times when ear hooks had memory wire, but a lot of people disliked it. Cable itself is interesting. It's pretty thick, but at the same time not that sturdy, so it's average in terms of softness. Microphonic effect is pretty low, so looks nice. Goes down to this splitter. There is no chin slider, but probably this cable doesn't need it. Nice looking, accurately braided, and after the splitter it goes down to the straight 3.5mm jack. So overall, all exterior parts are really looking well and made really well too. Sound-wise, they deliver the promise and provide a noticeable amount of crystal clarity, which can be considered as a plus and as a minus, depending on your music and sound preferences. It's a pretty interesting step in development of TFZ because, as far as I remember, their previous tunings usually were quite an opposite, delivering a warmer sound signature. But here we're getting a slightly V-shaped signature, but at the same time not warm and quite the opposite, slightly on the brighter side of things. But you know, it fits in my subjective preferences and does a bunch of things the way I like. So, first of all, bass. And that's the first thing I like here. It's pretty fast with good texturing. Not super dry because punch and weight is significant, but at the same time, zero added weight here. Main accent is made on the mid bass, but at the same time, deeper layers of bass are present. When it's necessary, they can deliver a good rumble, but not exaggerated, not overbloated, so it's definitely not a bass head earphones, and I like it. They are really good in delivering small nuances of instruments that goes to the low frequencies area. But when it's necessary for electronic music, they also can deliver a pretty decent amount of rumble. Of course, it's subjective and to my taste. So let's go with examples, and first one is Mindfields by the Prodigy, and that's what I'm saying about a good amount of rumble. For this track, they deliver it nicely. And you know, forgot to mention beforehand another interesting feature of these earphones. They are really good sounding on the low volumes. Usually, to get the full potential of the earphones, you need to raise the volume above some level, which usually comes close to my traditional comfortable volume limit. But here you can reduce volume pretty noticeably and still you'll get their signature. Probably in the tuning of these earphones, they took this into the account. Of course, on really low volumes, still you'll get less bass and less treble, but going slightly above quiet volume, you'll get a nice balanced signature. And another example, it's Dave's True Story, Walk on the Wild Side, and that's just a really well recorded track with drum and bass parts with a lot of nuances and details, and these earphones deliver it in a pretty pleasant way with a healthy amount of details and small nuances. Bass transitions nicely into mids without any bloating, with good control, but it's kind of thing to be expected because it's not super accented, so no bleeding onto mids. Mids are typical dynamic driver balanced. Nice resolution, but without focus on the micro contrast, with accent on the upper mids, making sound more spicy and engaging, highlighting aggressive guitars and female vocals, but not overdoing that. Good amount of airness in the tracks. And slightly boosted dynamics and emotions, so a bit highlighting emotions, and at the same time pretty critical for the quality of records because sometimes they tend to highlight issues with records. But with properly recorded and mastered things, you'll get a nice level of realism and naturalness. Also, for me, they built really wide imaginary stage. Depth is slightly above average, not super deep, but at the same time with nice depth layering, but width is really good with great sense of spaciousness, especially for live performances and stuff like that. So, first example, it's Metallica, Fuel, or song about Give Me Jabba Jabba Jaya, aggressive guitars, but at the same time not overly aggressive, noticeable percussions, but at the same time pretty tight bass line and drums, so slightly leaning towards the aggressive representation, but not too much, and overall staying pretty well balanced. And Jethro Tull, Cross-Eyed Mary, a bit of vintage type of recording and mastering, but at the same time guitar sounds nice, vocal really emotional, and this flute in the intro part sounds really natural with a lot of nuances. Treble is accented, not too much, but still pretty noticeable. And in this aspect, these earphones make a step from traditional treble safe tuning that is popular nowadays. So if you're sensitive for the high frequencies, probably it's not the best model for you. But if you like energetic and nicely rendered treble like I do, they actually are pretty nice. They provide a basic but present layering. They have above the average treble extension, and both basic and extended overtone sounds nicely. It's a dynamic driver type of treble, so not super lightweight or airy like the balanced armatures, but at the same time treble here sounds pretty natural. And first example, it's Bijelo Dugme, classics of Yugoslavian rock, track named Jerkad Ostariš, Pozdrav svima. And it's an interesting track with a lot of high frequencies. They have percussions, they have keyboard that goes to the high frequency area, they have some bells, and all that recorded with a lot of high frequencies. It's from one hand a bit sharp sounding with these earphones, but at the same time it's that type of sharpness that I enjoy. It's like a bit tickling, but at the same time not like, aggressive type of treble presence. It's energetic, but not overdone. And this track sounds really airy and spacious because of that. And second example, it's David Bowie, Life on Mars, keyboards in the introduction part, and guitars and vocal goes with overtones to the high frequency area, and all that things giving nice sense of presence. And also I really like treble tuning here. So in terms of pairing, they don't require a lot of power, but at the same time they require good control, and they prefer not like natural or dry sources to get the full potential. You can compensate their forwardness by using a bit warmer source, something with R2R matrix, for example, or something a bit vintage in sounding. But I'm not a fan of like trying to minimize the character of these earphones. If you don't like such signature, you just can get some other earphones, and that's it. So no sense in, in buying some, aggressive dog and trying to make it like a pet or emotional support dog. So in terms of comparisons, in this price segment, I can recall few FD15. They are a bit less forward on the treble, but at the same time a bit more weighty on the mids, and with a bit more weight on the bass, but in terms of resolution on the bass and mids, they are about the same. Maybe also I can recall NF Acus NM4, if I remember right, the name that I reviewed not so long ago. And they are less tight on bass, I mean NF Acous, and also they are a bit more refined in the treble area. Here you're getting more forward and more energetic representation. Also, they reminds a little bit Moondrop offers like Kato, KXXX, but at the same time, Kato and others are more focused on the micro contrast. Here you're getting a bit less of that and a bit more macro part. So, to summarize everything, it's not mass market tuned earphones, they have their own character and I really like it. I like their tuning and also I like that Angelears cooperated with TFZ to deliver earphones with a bit unusual but at the same time interesting tuning, because we have a lot of earphones with usual tuning and we need more bold experiments that delivers great results. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a great day.